Thank you, Rosanna. Greetings, everyone. This is State Building Co-Council Legislative Committee for February 29th, 2024. Can we please take roll?
Yes. Todd Byruther.
Here.
Damon Doyle. Chell Anderson.
Here.
Micah Chappelle. I see that he's here. Jay Arnold. Matthew Hepner. Tom Handy.
Here.
Representative Alex Rummel. Roger Haringa.
I'm here for about 45 minutes.
Okay. So we do have quorum.
Okay, thank you. Anyone from the public like to be recognized? Okay. If not, thank you. We'll hear a motion to approve the agenda. You'll see on the screen.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Shell. Rosanna, would you mind putting that up again, please? I think you had it.
Can you see it, the agenda?
No, I think maybe click over to your tab. You had it there, and then there you go. Thank you.
Oh, these
Oh,
are
I'm
the
sorry. Were those the notes? The meeting
Yeah,
minutes.
these are-
Okay, sorry. We had the agenda. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so approved. Now, for your motion to approve the previous minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So first, February 15th, February 22nd. Any proposed edits? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so approved. Okay, jumping right in. Stoyan, please
Yeah.
summarize if you're willing.
I'm going there. Okay, this is the cutoff calendar. This is where we are. The next cutoff is March 1st. There it is. We passed the last day to read in opposite house committee reports. It was on 27th. I sent you, sorry, I sent you late this summary reports, but I kind of get the information next day, and Josh is helping on this one. So typically I send it to you the night before the meeting, but for the next one, I will try to do it the day before, not the night before. And 7th, it's the last day of the session, where we are with the bills. Everything that passed, the 6th cutoff passed this one as well. I sent you the live bills, and I highlighted the bills with high priority. 1998, we started with monitoring, but it became a high priority for us. So far, I know that 6291 is in the schedule for a hearing, and I don't have information for the other 3 bills with high priority. This is all I can share, and if you have questions, I can put the bills on the screen, and will do my best to answer your questions.
Stoyan, I think so. 2071 went out a day or two ago, right? And I don't remember. Is that going straight to the governor's desk? Because there were no amendments on the. No, there were amendments on the Senate side. So it's going back to the House, right?
Again, yes, I believe so. Based on.
But it is out of the Senate. It's my understanding.
If I say I'm new and I don't know the entire process, I can't say that because it's my 3rd time. But I'm still lost when we get too late in the process. So I'm not really sure. I think you're right. It should go back for a vote, but there are some exceptions that I tried to summarize with the email last night, but I don't know if I successfully did that.
Oh, thank you, all good. Okay, then I saw the WUI code was added yesterday or last night or something to the floor, so. Okay, anyone have any discussions? I haven't seen any new amendments to these bills since last we talked, just that they finally made it through rules and are sitting on the floors.
No amendments to neither one.
Okay. This might be short. Anyone have anything they'd like to discuss?
Todd, I have a
Yep.
question and I need to, sorry, I'm having computer issues. I had somebody approach me yesterday about a bill that is on the dead list. And they asked me about, they thought it was in process and looking like it was moving forward. Let me find the number. And bills. House Bill 1342. Embodied carbon reductions. Somebody had told me that that was moving, had passed. And again, I'm with Stoyan. I'm not completely sure of the process. I'm still learning. I'm curious just if that's really dead or do we know for sure?
Can you say again the number?
1342, it's on the bottom of page 1 of what you sent.
That was carried over from last year and it never made it out of committee this year. Or it never had anything. It was just by resolution reintroduced, but nothing's happened to it.
Okay,
This is what I can see on the website. Yes.
okay. Fair enough. I just had somebody ask me about it and as though it was going to move forward, but that's apparently not the case.
Was that the yeah, that was the EPD one, right?
I think that that was the one that he was talking about. He didn't have the number either, so I was looking for it this morning.
Yeah, see, Tom is right. It never moved after January 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, and Roger, I don't, oh, go ahead, Micah.
We can finish with Roger's item.
No, I was just gonna make a brief comment that for those of us that weren't on the council, or for those that weren't on the council, a year or two ago, this bill and the versions of it have kind of come up over the last couple sessions, and then there was a formal proposal in the IBC to consider putting EPDs and building officials, review them and so forth. So, and we probably spent 3 days of testimony on that proposal alone, but it eventually didn't make it through. But
Okay.
thanks for bringing that topic up.
Yep.
Go ahead, Micah.
Just for clarification on this document that seems to be updated, did as a council take opposition to the SSB 6120, and we're still showing a neutral position in the documentation?
It should be corrected. Sorry about that.
That's okay, thanks.
So 6120, we touched on this a little bit the last time. 6120 is a good example that I will have this in the agenda for the council meeting, but we have about a month between council meetings, and sometimes during the session we need to react faster. So with 6120, the council did oppose the bill, but it was kind of late in the game, and the amendments that we proposed were kind of a little bit too much based on the time frame, not that the amendments were bad. So if the council can find a way to react faster during the sessions,
Yeah, and just a reminder for everyone. So, the council took action and then, we proposed some language and I helped testify in the local government committee on the House side. And, and then we didn't do anything once then it passed through and there was some, the committee, definitely listened and expressed concern but then nothing changed once it went to appropriations and we didn't testify for appropriations to my knowledge.
There
And
was a
nothing
request.
changed.
There was a request from the sponsors of the bill if we can provide amendments, and the problem was that the council's the concern that the council members had cannot be addressed with amendments only to the new bill. It should include something. I mean, because the issue started in 2018. So I didn't know. I had 10 minutes to react. I didn't know what kind of amendments I can propose, and I didn't have time to discuss with the council. So it went without any amendment. So that was the reason I raised this concern that sometimes the ledge committee or something that will help with the process. So if we need to react on a request or something, it's waiting for the next council meeting, and even scheduling special council meeting. It's not enough time to react.
So maybe just to talk about this for just a couple minutes and remind everyone where it is and what it will potentially mean for the council. So I think this bill is the same. I don't think any changes are made in the House side as it stands on the Senate floor right now. Do I have that backwards? On the House floor right now. So if this goes as it's written, that only the portions of the WUI, we think it then negates the current adopted WUI by the council, right? What's the risk here? Can this one be delayed and the other codes aren't, or what's going to happen if this passes as we anticipate it will?
If the bill passes in the way it is, we have two things that are in the plate right now. So the first one is the council is in a process of adopting amendments to the WUI code that would take care of some issues with defensible space, and we intentionally didn't have this for a vote the last meeting. So what's going to happen if the bill passes? Then, well, the council needs to make a decision, and I will discuss this. I don't know, with the ledge committee and with the council chair and vice chair, whether or not we need to schedule a special meeting before March 15th. So that's the first thing, to act on the current rule that is under consideration. At the last meeting, we had the work session. We had the discussions. We have the council direction for staff to make some modifications to the language and propose it for the next council meeting. Again, whether or not that would be on March 15, I don't know yet. So that's the first part. The second part is, if this bill passes, then it specifically states the council authority to adopt specific sections of the WUI, and in addition to that, we need to wait for DNR to adopt the new maps, to develop actually the new maps. As far as I know, the information from DNR was a year and a half. I would add 6 more months just for insurance, so it's about 2 years. How I see the things, and I haven't discussed this with the attorneys, but if we are waiting for the maps, and I see Micah here, he may correct me if I'm wrong, but if we need to wait for the maps, and my opinion is that the council needs to act and strike out everything that's currently adopted in WUI, and we'll wait for the maps, and then the council can go back to the drawing table and, you know, adopt the new version of WUI with the new maps. This is how I see it.
Sounds familiar. Thank you. And then Jay, Tom, Micah.
You mentioned something with the 2018, an amendment with the 2018 code that seemed too big for the legislature at the time. Could you talk a little bit more about that and whether this is a chance that we take half a loaf and propose something that's only 2021? What would be the impact for that?
Well, the council did oppose the bill because of two reasons. The first one, the council authority, and the second one was that the bill had code language in it, which, of course, nobody likes if the law has technical requirements in it. Let me. So the amendments that we proposed, they included existing language from the 2018 bill, you know, the existing language in the existing law, plus a few changes to the language in the current bill. But if we have to propose amendments to the current bill only without including existing language, I didn't see how amendments to the current bill will address the council concern. Again, I didn't have enough time to react on it at the time. I just didn't know what I could have proposed for that. So the concerns that the council have, they are not only with the new bill, they are concerns with the, in general, with what this 1927-560, what is the issue with the council? Well, the issue is a combination between the new bill and what was enacted in 2018.
Right. I'm just wondering if there's, if the legislature says we're not going back to 2018, if we solve it moving forward, that's a win. And so, and I'm just wondering if we're not out there right now with a amendment that could happen on the floor, things are going to pass. My concern is things are going to pass as is.
Yes.
And so, you know, is there a language that says, you know, something that says, you know, that that will adopt these codes as or cities and counties will adopt these codes in full or as modified by the State Building Code Council, you know, something like that that gives us some flexibility.
You know, go ahead, Tom, and I think Micah will comment then. I could also.
Okay, I was just had a comment on the maps, and I know that's not this current exact discussion, or well, what Jay brought up, but as I understand it too, that if the local jurisdictions have maps developed with the criteria that the DNR would want to use or be required to use, then they could adopt those immediately. And not wait for the DNR maps to be done.
I think that's correct, Tom. And Micah, do you want to also comment on that?
Sure, let's go back to Jay's question. I kind of have the same thought, but I think that the modification would be where showing on the screen right now, section 1, item 4. That's really where the authority is being taken away from the SBCC to provide modifications to the WUI code. Again, this is precedent setting. This would be the only code in the series that the state adopts that the state cannot amend, which means I think Todd put it in a simple way when I talked to him that somebody from, I think you said Iowa, develops model code language or other states that will impact Washington without the ability of the SBCC to modify that language to be more specific to Washington as a state. So this is where we would need to provide that modification, I believe, Jay. And then, yes, Tom, you are correct. Further down in the bill, I want to say it is, section 2, section 3, all the way down to item 4 of that. Talks about the risk mapping. If a jurisdiction has a current risk map, yes, they can use that until 6 months after DNR creates their map, and then their jurisdiction's map would have to be updated using the same criteria DNR used. So there is a way to do this. However, I believe the jurisdiction would have to adopt the entire WUI code or portions of the WUI code, the model code, without amendment, unless they bring those amendments to the SBCC. So, I mean, there's some benefit to this. There's some where it's still a problem. I've had lots of questions on this. A lot of folks have emailed me asking about information in their ordinance currently and what they should do. So it's a problem. However, I think that it could be solved, and kind of going back to what Jay was talking about, if there's anything we could provide now, maybe there's not a need to. Maybe this bill gets passed as is. They're aware of our issues, and maybe the SBCC comes out in support of modified legislation starting in, say, October, November, when bills start to be developed this for the next legislative cycle. And we can get this, our concerns changed, which is the adoption of code language in here and the modification of our authority as the SBCC, get those changed before the mapping is done. Again, I think a lot of folks don't have any issues with the mapping. But the other part of it, and Historian could probably correct me as well, we did not, as the SBCC, provide any amendments to the mapping sections. It was just the authority section and the code language sections.
That's correct, yes.
That we recommended, that we recommended changes to. So again, the mapping, I think, would buy us enough time to modify the legislation next legislative cycle, and maybe work with the sponsor a little more closely. That's my opinions. Thanks, everybody.
I think this was the agreement based on the conversations I had. It's not whether or not we can provide a proposed amendments. It's the time frame. The council acted too late on it. We had the conversations with the Ledge Committee, but there wasn't a final decision by the council. So for this particular bill, if the council were to start early in the process, but if the council, and again, that's personal opinion, you may disagree with me, but if the council pushes too much for amendments, then the bill could have died. So what is the better option? Have the same language as it is now, or have the clarifying language pertaining to the maps? So again, I had not enough time to act on it. I didn't have it. The Ledge Committee meeting, it was a holiday, so I couldn't schedule a special meeting because I couldn't send out the gov delivery notice. So this is where we are, and agree with Micah. I think everybody understands the council's concern right now. I think WABO had similar issues with this bill. They were neutral on it, but they want to continue working with the sponsors for the next session. So I think this is where the conversation went.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, like the council action and then the testimony that we gave to the local government committee stated that the state building code council supports the mapping in section 4 and 5. So just there seems to be really strong agreement that that's really important that DNR, produces new maps. The authority piece, no, I want to raise a question here. If we go to page 5, line 28, I think I understand that, but I would love to hear other people's opinions. So, that's mine's different. I'm looking at
Tell me the section number so I'll get there.
section 3, and then down in B3. Just a little bit up from there, Stoyan, right there. So in 3, it says, oh, go up a little, there you go. In adopting and maintaining the code enumerating sections, this is a change where they cross out 2. Now, 1 is the section up above that says only the portions of the model WUI code. And then 2 is the section that goes into the rulemaking authority and crosses that out. And I think I understand this as saying this is what strips the ability for rulemaking authority. And then it says, and this is in this section, if you read it carefully, just take a minute. Any amendment of the code adopted of this section may not result in a WUI code that is more than the minimum performance standards in subsection 1, which is only the portions of the model code. So I think this is concerning to me because this is what really slashes the ability for any Washington amendments. Am I reading that correctly? Okay, I got a thumbs up from Micah, but that's my interpretation. And then I have a little confusion if you go up to line 35 there where it says all county, cities, and towns may adopt the WUI code published by ICC in whole or any portion thereof. What does that mean? So a city can come in and adopt the whole WUI code and then the State Building Code Council has to approve that, but we don't have the ability to do it ourselves. Is that correct?
Well, it's a current language that adds in whole or any portion thereof, but I think that was
So the city of Spokane can come in and in their local process adopt the whole ICC WUI code, but then it's got to come to approval by the State Building Code Council. Is that Micah?
No, that's not my interpretation. You can adopt it in whole or portions of it without modification, without approval from the SBCC. That's how I read this. The other RCW, it's RC 1927. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget the number. Of course, it won't pull up. I'm trying to pull up online. There's a different RCW that we've actually discussed in past SBCC meetings and got confirmation from Dirk that it's the one that states jurisdictions cannot modify the codes that affect more or less 1 and 2 family dwellings or certain residential structures without approval from the SBCC. So that's where that interpretation is coming from. So this code would affect those structures. And if you wanted to amend the code to affect those structures, you do have to get approval from the SBCC. So
But adopting you don't have to have approval.
But adopting it in whole without modification, you don't have to get approval from the SBCC based on this legislation.
That's my
Or
confusion.
portions of it.
Okay.
Which I think most folks would go portions of it, considering Chapter 4 mostly covers access and water supply, which most jurisdictions already have other ordinances addressing those. So, and I think Tom has a real hand up in the video, and then Caddy, I'm not sure if you see Tom in there. So, I'm seeing the video, so I'm not sure if anybody else will see that. But
Yeah, my question was just that, when they're able to, and this is maybe something to address somewhere else, but since they're able to address any portion thereof, could they not adopt what the council puts forward as an amendment? And just totally ignore that piece.
I don't think that's allowed by state law either.
Okay.
Because cities and counties are required to enforce what the SBCC adopts.
Okay.
Now, do they do that? Not necessarily. They're probably ignoring some of that, Tom, but by state law, I'm going to say the correct state law answer is no, they can't ignore that. If it's adopted by SBCC, it has to be enforced.
Okay.
I think that's right, Tom, because section 1 says the state building code shall adopt, and then it goes only the portions listed in RCW. So, Katie?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought that initially, like what Micah showed, and it was a section 4 of some other section. I can't remember, that basically took away the our ability to amend the WUI code. I thought that was really compelling to hear that it's written by some guy in Iowa or wherever. And so if we just took that out, that seems like a good amendment to propose that is a simple fix. But now seeing that there's other things that actually take away our authority in other ways, is it fair to say that I've also heard is that, you know, with the mapping taking as long as it will, and, you know, we're just starting out, does this would affect our capacity for pulling together the tag? Then it doesn't even seem like we need to have a tag.
Correct.
I mean, so if we don't amend it right now, we don't pull together a tag, and we have to amend it next session. Is that right?
I want to add something that I didn't say at the beginning, but so only these portions, this is what the new bill is saying, and the existing language is portions of the international
Okay.
interface code. So keep in mind that we've been sued about that. Part of the complaint in the state court includes the WE code and the State Building Code Council's authority to adopt. So whatever we're saying, if we've been sued, then it means the language is somehow unclear, because the council, of course, I don't vote for that. The council decided that the law is clear enough, and the council has authority to adopt the WE code, whatever the council did adopt. And currently the bill says only those portions. So it kind of clarifies the language. I'm not saying it's better. It's kind of clarifies a language. And now Michael will correct me. I was waiting for him.
No, I was going to say something else. You were doing just fine. So please finish, Stoyan, and then come back to me.
My personal opinion on this bill was that, good or bad, it clarifies something that you know, at least the council knows this is the clear direction. Again, understanding the issues that were introduced to the sponsors of the bill, and it was discussed in detail at the committee meeting and later with among the sponsors. But again, portions, and only those portions, that was for me the difficult part, to make a decision for 10 minutes and propose any amendment. Again, if this conversation happened much earlier than that, then the council would have more time to initiate the conversation with the sponsors. Somehow, I guess we didn't plan that well.
I mean, watching how these things move, it just, I mean, unless we're all ready to meet at the drop of a hat, this is going to happen. So I don't know. I'll keep thinking. Thanks.
Go ahead, Micah.
Thanks, Katie. I think part of it too with this is I hate to say it, the sponsor should have reached out to the SBCC if it affects SBCC early on, and we probably would have been more prepared. And when we talk about somebody in Iowa developing this code, is what that means is model code is done through a national consensus process. I mean, we do state consensus process. So the international codes are done through a international consensus process, and that's coming up. You know, they just published the monograph for code changes to Group A or Group 1 codes for us for the national level process for 2027 codes already. That monograph just for those Group A codes is 2,600 pages long. So lots of code changes up for review. But that's what we mean by somebody in Iowa can get in and write the WUI code, because anyone can propose a code change from anywhere. And really any one of the other countries, say Saudi Arabia, they adopt international codes. They could put in a code change on WUI code if they wanted. So it's not specific to Washington. Yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean, and we're seeing even now the difference between what West Side and East Side are thinking about the WUI code. So that's why, I mean, it's compelling. Like it's a highly local code.
Yeah, so it's real important for the SBCC to maintain the authority to amend this specific to Washington State as a whole and address both East Side and West Side concerns. When that work group that I was part of did a lot of those code changes that went forward for the state, we had both East Side and West Side folks involved. So it was important. And I wanted to go back to Todd, and you asked about where the authority or limit on authority comes from on local adoption or amendments to specific items. It is RCW 1927-060, and that is, I believe, in item 1A, and it talks about that anything that affects single family or multifamily residential buildings shall not be effective, anyway, unless approved by the SBCC. I won't read it verbatim, but it's in that RCW there. So that's where it comes in, where yes, they can adopt the entire code, but if they're going to amend it, they need to get that approval through the SBCC, since it will affect 1 and 2 family dwellings or multifamily as defined in the RCW.
That's helpful. I didn't understand the distinction between amending and adopting in that
Right.
RCW, so thank you. Tom?
Yeah, I think last meeting we discussed and maybe got on the agenda for the next SBCC meeting was to allow somehow give the ledge committee some authority to act on the SBCC's behalf on items that were maybe pre-identified as priorities, so that we don't wind up in this position again where we don't have time to provide our opinions appropriately, so that we can be more nimble, I guess, during legislative session. So I hope that we can maybe sort that out a little bit too at the next meeting.
Thank you, Tom. Jay?
I support the direction we're going, and if we are looking to have a trailer bill fix some of these problems, I think we should at least have a conversation with Representative Dewar and just say, because she was the one during the committee hearing that said that she would be looking to make some floor amendments, and if we're not in a position to come to agreement on floor amendments, just set expectations that we'd like to be back with a trailer bill in the fall.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. And just, for transparency, that the action that the council took, and I hope I captured it well in the testimony, I made the distinction between that which is rulemaking authority in the technical realm, which is the way we did it, and what has occurred here in 2018. And I think this is very deliberate, and that's the prerogative of the legislature, that in the political sphere, that code amendment is happening. And I think some of this is written to be very, very deliberate about that authority. So that is the will of the legislature, and I think this probably goes through. So, okay. Any other discussion on this? All good comments, good discussion today. I think that helps everyone elevate to understanding this better. Okay, anything else? Any other bill? Micah?
I just had another question, and I think you may have already answered on the middle housing bill. Are we going to create a separate tag for that, or is that going to go through the IBC, IRC tags, or a combined tag of the two members?
My sharing personal opinion, I was thinking about using the technical advisory groups that we will establish for the 2024 code adoption cycle. And when we get close to discussing language, then having a joint meetings that because we are having a hard time establishing the technical advisory groups anyway, and so if we are lucky to have the fully completed tags for the building code and the residential code, and now establishing another, I'm sure we will have the same technical advisory group members applying for this position. So having the residential code tag and the building code tag, and then having joint meetings, that I think it's a good approach. But again, I will rely on the council's direction here.
And Mike, I'll give my opinion as as chair of the IBC tag, I would like us to have a very open public discussion about, first of all, to jump right into the single stair, 6-story typology, and then in that discussion, discuss the continuum from 2 to 24, because that's what that would allow, and say, how does this all fit together so that when we have the IRC and the IBC tags going, and hopefully a joint, that we're looking at that whole continuum together, since now there will be 2 mandates essentially in middle housing typologies.
Right. Okay. That helps. And then the second question on that, and just for discussion purposes, maybe at the future council meetings, is the SBCC going to accept proposals on these items? And are those proposals going to be required to be completed by May? Because both of those are going to fall more or less into group 1, especially if stuff comes to the IBC tag. Thanks.
Again, based on staff opinion, we will be accepting proposals, but also the technical advisory groups can work on proposals as well. And I think this will take a longer time, so I don't want to include the mandates we have based on 2701 and some other bills. I don't want necessarily tied this to the a code adoption schedule for 2024, because if we have base proposals to start with by the end of May or June, great. But if we don't, then we need to continue working on those. So if we say by the end of May, whatever we get, that's it, it's not the case. And the other thing is we're revising the schedule because we're about 3 months late. The same nightmare happened last year as well for 2021 code. And so we're modifying the schedule, revising the schedule. So the proposals, the due date won't be May, it will be sometimes in August. So it will give us a little bit more time to develop that.
Awesome. Thanks. Just because I know these are huge lifts for volunteer time, especially the middle housing bill coming from the building code to the residential code. There's so many nuances in there that are going to have to be captured some way, shape, or form. So thanks, Dorian. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, everyone.
And Mike, I'll share that Storian and I and Dustin discussed, and I'll give my opinion, and I would like the council, and I think we need to raise this to Damon on whether at the next council meeting he'd like to put that on the agenda, that the council weighs in on my interpretation is it's a mandate, and we can open it up in this code cycle, and then also accept proposals and start to fold those into the process. But my interpretation of mandate is the tag is allowed to move forward with this in this cycle on whatever schedule seems fit. But again, we run into, are we adopting it all by December 1st this year, or do we have the full cycle to do that? So good questions.
Before we get to the proposals, we need to develop the 2 reports, the existing amendments report and the significant changes reports. And in the significant changes report, these are significant changes in the model codes, but in the significant changes report, we include everything that technical advisory group or a standing committee or staff, whatever, we include everything that the public can expect. We include potential proposals, and these statutory mandates, they will be in this report, so our stakeholders and members of the public will have some idea that we'll be working on those.
Awesome. Well, maybe you can come to Orlando to the national hearings with me, Storian. Florida. It'd be spring break, April.
If I don't have another code hearing, I can.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I think we lost Roger, but we made it on time on his 45 minutes. So I think I asked Dorian if there's a necessity to have the meeting next week. I unfortunately probably can't make it. So if there's a desire by committee members, it'll be in the last couple days of session. So literally the last 2 days. So, but maybe we should schedule it and Tom,
We-
maybe
we
this
have
is maybe we're handing off early.
We have it, we have it in the schedule.
Okay.
I will wait and see if there are some changes, let's say until Tuesday next week. And then if we don't have anything else to add, we will cancel it. If there are changes, then we can have the meeting. Todd, I see Larry is
Yeah, Larry, do you have a concluding comment here? Larry, don't miss it.
Is that better?
There you go.
Yes.
Now we got you. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. In yesterday's Spokane Review paper, we had some documentation about what happened this winter when the cold spell hit. And Kaiser Aluminum had to be shut down for days, so we had enough electrical power to provide heat for the people that needed heat. And so what we've told you people is we don't have enough power. And as you look around the Spokane area, you see all the apartments that are being built. And all of those apartments are electrical. So when next winter comes around, there isn't going to be the power that we even had this winter, because there's new generation. And you guys are just going forth, and we're not going to have the power to keep our houses warm here. And so just alone this year, I've seen where the power was off for 4 or 5 to 8 hours, millions of dollars of damage from broken pipes. Because when it gets down to 15 below and the wind starts blowing and you don't have no heat, the damage becomes severe real quick. And this is what you guys are proposing to all of us, that we're going to have even more of this, because we don't have the power to do what you guys are trying to propose. And this summer, with all these
Larry?
other units coming on, just give me 2 more minutes.
Well, I appreciate it, but this is the legislative committee. Appreciate
Yeah,
your comments, but is it tied to any specific legislation that we should be
it is
considering?
tied to this, because you guys are pushing this legislation to even make it worse. Thank you.
Okay, my ask was whether there's specific legislation you would like the council to discuss that's currently still active, but thank you for the comments. Okay, with that, I think we can adjourn. Appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
See y'all.